the application layer. So the user interface, the application layer is nothing but acting as the interfacing between the user and the system and other layers. So where we are going to create the data and manipulation, whatever data I want to send. So I have to prepare the data to be transmitted. So that preparation of the data is being taken care in the application layer. And whatever is received, if I want to change, modify, manipulation. Okay, if I want to access a particular web page, so I'll be giving the required command like HTTPS to access a web page and the URL of that web page. Okay, so that will be done in the application layer. And I want to upload a file. It is being done in the application layer. The protocols used. Downloading a file. If I want to download a file, so this uploading, downloading, accessing the web pages. Then suppose I want to send a mail, so creation of the mail and preserving the mail or deleting the mail, so manipulation. So all these tasks, whatever user is doing, all those tasks comes under the application layer. All these are application layer tasks. So some of the protocols that will be coming across in the TCP model about the application layer protocols. For example, HTTPS, FTP. Using the FTP, I can upload or download the files. Using HTTPS, I can access any web page of any website likewise. And by using the mail, so I can create a mail or I can manipulate the mail or I can delete the mail, whatever I receive. Okay, or whatever before transmitting, I can delete, I can modify, or I can create the information. So all these tasks will be happening in the application layer. So for that, say sender application layer and receivers application layer. So now what this application layer does, so information preparation for transmitting whatever data I want to send, it is being prepared by using different applications. Okay, if I want to send a Word file, so by using the MS Word, I'll prepare the information. So Word application. If I want to send an Excel sheet, then an Excel application. Okay, I want to send a PPT, so PPT application to create that. Likewise, depending on my requirement, what type of information I want to send, by using that appropriate application, I'll create that information, and that information will be handed over to the presentation layer, which is a layer 6. At the receiver again, the layer 6 presentation layer will hand over that information to the application layer. Then by using the same application, suppose if receiver receives the word format information by using MS Word, that will be opened in the application layer and it can be appropriate action will be taken on that. So likewise, so depending on different applications will be used in the application layer. So the name application layer is given to this, where we are going to use different applications based on the requirement. That is the role of the application layer. So these are the roles of different layers. Okay, so overall what we can see in this particular is the whatever data we want to send, by using the application, the data will be created by the user at the application layer, and a header, AH means application header, so that indicates the type of application used for creating this data, so that the receiver can use the same application to open the data. For that information is in this. Then this will be handed over to the presentation layer. So whatever is coming from the application layer, both information and the header part, will be treated as the data by the next layer. So whatever is coming from the upper layer, the lower layer will treat everything is the data. Then it is going to add its own header. Then it is going to add its own header. So now this is coming from the application layer. So presentation layer will deal everything is the data. Then presentation layer will add its own header. Then this entire will be handed over to the session layer. Now the session layer will deal everything that is coming from the presentation layer as the data. Then session layer will add its own header. Then that will be handed over to the transport layer. So whatever is coming from the session layer is deal as data, and transport layer will add its own header. Then the network layer will treat everything as data, then it will add its own header. Then that will be called as packet, will be handed over to the data link layer. The data link layer, whatever it is receiving, will be treated as data, and it is going to add, so data link layer header and data link layer trailer. Then the entire frame will be handed over to the physical layer, which is being sent as bit stream. Entire thing is being sent as bit stream onto the communication media. Then the receiver will receive bit stream. The bit stream will be handed over as a frame to the data link layer. Then the data link layer, with the help of header, verify whether it belongs to the same or not. If it belongs to the same receiver, then with the help of trailer, so error checking mechanism. If no errors, this whatever data part is there will be handed over to the network layer. Then network layer will check the error header part. Then IP address will be verified whether it belongs to this or not. If it belongs to this, then the data part will be handed over to the transport layer. Then the transport layer will verify the header part, which port has to process. Then process it, and remaining the data part will be handed over to the session layer. Then the session layer will remove its header part and process, hand over to the presentation layer. Then presentation layer, with the help of header, so what type of encryption, what type of decryption, decoding or decompression techniques to be used, it does, and hand over to the application layer. Then application layer will open the data using the application mentioned. Then it is going to be processed by the user, either saving the information or deleting it or manipulating it. Whatever is to be done, user is going to take care of that. So this is how different layers are being taking place. Okay, so that is about the role of all these 7 layers in OSI model. And if you talk about this, if you see this reference model diagram, so this is the 7-layer structure at the sender system, host or end device. And this is the 7-layer structure at the end device, that is the receiver. And you are going to see some 3-layer structures in between. So these are the intermediary devices. So sender will process the information by layer, and it is being handed over to the physical layer. Then physical layer will send that bit stream to the intermediate device. If the intermediate device is only repeater will have only one layer in the intermediate device. So that bit stream will be amplified and further processed and transmitted toward the destination. If the intermediary device is a switch, then intermediate device will have 2 layers, physical and data link. If the intermediary device is a router, then that router will have 3 layers. Okay, so all the intermediary devices will have at the most 3 layers, 1, 2, 3. Okay, depending on the type of intermediary device. If it is repeater or hub, only physical layer. If the intermediary device is a repeater or hub, only physical layer is present in that. If the intermediary device is a switch or bridge, both physical and data link layers will be there in that intermediary device. If the intermediate device is a router or firewall, so 3 layers will be there. So remaining layers will not be present in any of the intermediary devices because processing is not there. Intermediate device, what is the role? Only the routing part. At the most, routing part is the role of intermediate device. So only the network layer part is enough. So processing of the port address is not needed for this. So no further processing is used, only routing information. So that helps, only IP address part is sufficient. So that is why all the intermediary devices will have maximum 3 layers. That is why in this diagram we are coming across only 3 layers with all intermediary devices. Like this may be there in multiple intermediary devices. Every intermediate device will have like this.